So our next speaker is from Brazil, but at the moment he is spending some time in Vienna at a technical university. He's talking about Lego 3D for children to design a new playground for Tirol in Brazil. So make some noise for Bruno, please.
Good morning. First, I would like to thank Alexander for being here, for choosing this work. It's really good to be in a morning that is multidisciplinary, different approaches from different fields. And now I bring you a perspective from the urban planning. I'm starting my second year PhD, and I'm a mobility period in the Duvin. And I've been studying games for 6 months. It's like a participatory method to engage civic participation. And taking back and continuing a little bit in a certain point, I work with children that I've been doing during my master. I experimented in this particular moment Lego 3D with children to design a new playground for the city. And I think the word Tirol might be bringing curiosity for you. It's a place, a district in Brazil that has been settled by Austrians that came from Tirol in the 19th century. And you're going to see some pictures and some names just by curiosity to see that they are really much alike. And then a little bit about me. In my bachelor degree, I started more in a cultural heritage background, designing a heritage route in the river, throughout the river, where Austrian and German and Swiss, a lot of different kind of immigrations. And it's not a really much known place in Brazil, and our interest was try to reconnect these places and show to people. And in my master degree, I started participatory because it was really interesting. I was beginning my master, and one professor in the methodology class, he asked me, okay, but do you consider heritage this? But does the people who live there, they consider heritage as well? I mean, you bring your vision, but if you start a participatory approach, maybe you can get and understand a little bit more what's the real issues there. That's when I start getting in contact with this Italian methodology with children to bring them to the urban planning processes. And now in my PhD, I intended to widen a little bit more the audience, continue work with children, that is my focus, but also with the brothers, the parents, and in a way that I can engage the whole community. And then summarize this work. It's Lego 3D, it's free, it's an open tool that you can download on the website. And as the physical one, you have to choose the pieces and you just block by block, you can build anything you want. And then it brings also some concepts and techniques from child-computer interaction. Many of you may be much more familiar than me with human-computer interaction, and this is like an arm of this approach. And the main aim of my PhD is about geogames and participatory planning in a way to enhance creativity and practical reflexive learning in children. And this experiment specifically was led in a 2-day, what I could call workshop with children in Tirol, in Brazil, to design a new playground. But it was really interesting. You see that I already changed the name by Square because the idea was, during my master, the complaints that they don't have public spaces, they don't have structured places to meet and to play. And then I came up with this idea, okay, so let's design a new playground. And then they ended up designing a whole square with a bunch of interesting ideas that I'll be showing you. And just for you to understand what it is, Tirol, so you have Brazil in the left. It's a municipality called Santa Leopoldina, and district of Tirol. It's 30 minutes by car to the river, to the main center of the city, as you can see there. And there is this district called Tirol, but also the neighbor in the south that it's in red called California. It's also a district that the Tyrolean Austrian were settled there. And above you can see some images that you can start building a mental map and building your own references by the Austrian architecture. And then, yes, stepping back a little bit to explain the line of my research. It's urban planning. There is a problem in Brazil through the participatory processes. And the gaming could be a way, my hypothesis is the gaming could be a method, a way to engage and really bring people throughout the whole process of the design. And not only in the end, like you vote, you like this way of thinking the city or you don't like, make like people think and also learn about the planning, the parameters in the city. And then we have two main references. There is Salenka, but maybe could be. And this is the first step of the work in front of the school and the church and the priest house, where they started to picking some elements that they could find and start designing trees, start designing lakes, starting design chairs, all kind of equipments they think that it's important to have in a playground. And then I began to design. They were like, how am I going to do this? So I started, and suddenly they were all engaging, as a really engaging group. Really nice kids, and they were designing all over, all together, all the elements that they thought it was important, just for you to give like a visual contact and for me to engage you a little bit more. And then this is the part of the rock that I was telling you, and then these two kids with the wheel, like, I'm going to drive the ship until back to Austria. And then in the second day, I showed them a possibility, what they could do with Lego 3D. So I did this really fast in front of them so they could watch it. And in a second moment, they were gathering together. I asked the first some of 2 or 3 that were more into the video games to lead the process, and then they had to teach the next one, always in a way that I could engage everyone around a single notebook. And then you can see they thinking together. I think, no, this is the wrong piece. If I need more grass, I have to choose the green one. Or no, okay, so the lake has to be in the middle. They have also this mental map, what ideal square could be. And this is the result of the more younger one from the kindergarten. For them, we could read that the connection is the most important thing. So they were thinking about trains and metros and faster ways to go through the territory, because the topography is really difficult, making it really difficult to move around, even with cars when it rains. And then they were thinking about making a drawing also a passarela. I don't know how to say this in English. I'm sorry. A pathways for pedestrians throughout in the top of it. So this group I could call more about the connection part of it. But the older ones, they were thinking more about the space as more organized, in a more organized way, as you could see. So there are a lot of platforms of green areas that they don't have in that square. And in the center, we have a square in gray, as you can see, and some parts of the ship that they were trying to build over there. So we had a time constraint. And in the conclusion, the next slide, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. So they were zoning the square, while the younger ones, they were trying to build connections, but they didn't know really how and which pieces to pick, but they were showing that they are alone, they are kind of isolated, they want to be more connected. Because unfortunately, the problems that justify my work is that the heritage lost. People are getting older and they are moving away. They want the city, they want best opportunities. And there they only have this small settlement with agriculture production. So the final considerations is that it's really important to phrase the children they are really open to work with this kind of activities. It could be exploratory game or a digital game as well. And it's important to phrase also that most of them don't play video games. They don't have internet. They don't have video games. They like, sometimes when I was working there, they were saying, Bruno, tomorrow I can't go because I'll be planting tomato with my father. So the agriculture is really present in their lives. They help the parents. And how fast they can learn this. So the first one has more an easy way to go, and then he was teaching the other ones, so they were like easily catching up. So it showed me that although they don't really know about the tool, they can really learn fast, and they can really do something. And then in the third one is that this could be a really powerful tool to think about the city, to rethink about the city. In this first experiment, there was just an open platform. They could build anything, but could be also in a second moment just have the city built in Lego, and then they could change the pieces also is a possibility. So that we could understand a little bit more better about the values. And about next steps could be also, how would it be to involve adults and teenagers? How would they respond to this? And then confronting all of this as we did with these younger children and older children. And also thinking about more critically about this work, how can I go on, how can I get better, about the methodology. It was a 2-day meeting, 2 mornings, but I felt that the time constraint, it was really difficult. If they had more time, they would have built a little bit more complex or more organized somehow. And also, yes, only one notebook, so it was really hard. Sometimes you get distracted. I was thinking always about the way, okay, help your friend. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? So this way of timing and organizing all the steps that they have to do is really important. And from the next steps, I intend to do the same, but of course more improved approach with children in Tirol, in Innsbruck, for example. I am trying to develop this here in Tuvin. And it's really interesting because I just received 10 letters for the children there. They are asking what I'm doing here. And they are asking if they can contact the children in Innsbruck, in Tirol. And I'm thinking if there is a way from one to evaluate the work of the other. Okay, my vision of the city is this one, of the square. And my limitation is this. I don't have space, or I have just an open space. And maybe in Innsbruck, they already have it, and they were thinking another way. So if we could show from each other and rebuild this bridge throughout this game, it could be a way to start thinking and have other cultural references for the children. And actually, yes, I've been working with Minecraft too, an experiment that I'll be showing the Geodesign Summit in Delft soon. And it was really interesting to see how children could respond to Minecraft, to Lego 3D. What about other games? And what about other games that fortunately we could develop or we could create? So these are some of the reflections that I've been doing so far. But it's been really overwhelming to work with children, to work with gaming as a tool of learning, of understanding the city, of reflecting and thinking about the future of the city. And I thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you. I really love your project. And as we wrote already via email, we're going to see each other soon, I hope, and do something together. So any question, and may I ask the next speaker to set up in the meanwhile? Awesome. Don't be shy, this was an amazing project. I'm sure you have questions. Thomas, I'm sure you have a question. Yes.
I would like to know if you already have made contact with the schools here in Austria to further the project, or are you still looking?
No, I'm still looking, and if you could help me, it would be amazing. I just been in Innsbruck for a conference, but I presented a completely different work, and I didn't have the chance to contact the schools or anything. But it would be great if I could find a way, or if you maybe could help me. Yes.
I wanted to know if you had the chance to speak with kids and with the guys in order to understand if I felt any limits in doing things with Lego or not, if their initial idea of ideal city and things when they were drawing that on the sand was different and changed because it changed the way to portray it. I mean, moving from changing and switching from using a stick and having a mouse and so change the way you are dealing with stuff because there is a mediation. And I would like to know if you had the chance to explore that maybe through your study with focus group, I don't know. And so I'm just asking you.
Okay, that's a really great question. And that's why I thought of going to physical first and then to digital, just because most of the books or the references that I've been reading, they are talking about hybrid methods as a better way to combine both the understanding of the physical space and creating a space in a fictional environment in digital where everything seems so small. So for them, for what I could get so far, of course, I did this experiment just a bit before coming here, so I didn't have much time to get mature about the ideas you were asking me. But what I could say is that they were always asking, but why here is so small? And which kind of piece do I have to pick? And sometimes they pick just a giant one to show that they wanted a little kindergarten around the school to plant the tomatoes or to plant the ginger, that they are really getting developed now, new cycle of development in the area because of the ginger. They are the most powerful producers in Brazil now. And I would have to try to explain about scale too. So this was really, really interesting to address a little bit what you're asking.